Hi there. Today we will look how to provision a new volume on StorSimple physical appliance. In StorSimple world, each volume can be created only inside a volume container. Basically, a volume container is an organization unit that should contain volumes with at least similar data stored on them. In the backend of the StorSimple appliance, the duplication process is run for each volume container. That means if you store identical data on two volumes, each inside different volume containers, the data won't be duplicated. Okay? So let's create our volume container that will be used later on to provision inside it new volumes. As you can see, we already have 3 volume containers, but we will click on button Add and create our personal volume container with the name NIL-VC-02. We select a storage account. We will choose StorSimple and blah 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 blah. What is a storage account? If you're asking yourself, a storage account is in Azure terminology the basic unit that stores all the data inside your Azure tenant. So if you create a virtual machine in Azure, its virtual disks are stored in storage account. And the same is true with StorSimple and volume containers. Data that is copied from the physical disks on your StorSimple appliance to the Azure gets stored inside a storage account that you have selected at the time when you created a new volume container. So in this step here. Okay? So it is also possible to throttle the bandwidth that will be used when the physical appliance copies the data blocks into the Azure, but we will just leave the default profile, that is the unlimited template. And the last part of this step is to create a cloud storage encryption key. This key is used when the data is copied from your physical appliance into the Azure tenant, into the storage account, and the data, when it is saved in the storage account, is encrypted with the key that you select here. So I will just enter a new key. Okay, and what is left is to confirm the creation process of a new volume container. So this part here is very quick, because in fact nothing special really gets done on the physical appliance. So yeah, you can see only 2 steps and the process is completed. Okay, now we have to create a new volume, our newly provisioned volume container. So we will just click on this arrow and you can see you have no volumes defined. Start by creating volumes. Okay, let's add a volume. And again, almost the same wizard starts. We have to name our volume. We'll just give it a simple name of NIL-vol-A, let's say, and we will choose a usage type. So what is a usage type for a particular volume? So we have 2 types. We have a tiered volume and a locally pinned volume. So a tiered volume has the data blocks that are stored on this volume. So the data blocks can be copied into the Azure tenant if the tiering algorithm that runs on the StorSimple appliance detects that the block hasn't been accessed for a long period of time. So on the other hand, the locally pinned volume, the data blocks that are stored on this type of volume are never copied to the Azure. So usually you create a locally pinned volume for high performance servers that cannot tolerate any delay when accessing the data. Okay, but we are creating just a normal volume, and we will select the first option, and we will give it a capacity of 1 terabyte, and let's continue. Okay, the last step in the process of creating a new volume is to select an access control record, to assign an access control record to our volume. So what is ACR? ACR is a permission record that determines which server is allowed to access the volume. Where can we find the ACR? The ACR is located on the server that will be accessing the newly provisioned volume. That's the reason why we have to RDP to our server that runs in our on-prem data center. So this is the fully qualified domain name of our server, and let's log in with the domain administrator. So now inside Server Manager tool, we go under Tools menu and select iSCSI Initiator Utility. Here we have to move to Configuration tab, and here we have the initiator name. These letters and numbers must be copied into the Azure StorSimple Manager portal, and let's give it a name so that we won't forget the next time we will use. And also we want to create a default backup policy for this volume. This automatically creates a policy that once per day backs up all the data from the volume that is created on the physical appliance into the Azure tenant. And what is left is to confirm the process. Okay, now this part takes a little bit longer. It takes around 30 seconds because now finally something really gets provisioned on your physical appliance. You can also monitor the steps. So there are 5 steps to create a new volume, and looks like it already completed. Okay. Okay, we have a new volume provisioned on StorSimple appliance. What is left to do is to connect and to format a new disk on the server that runs inside our on-prem data center and will connect to the volume on StorSimple appliance. So to do this, we have to move back into the RDP client, and we will still use the iSCSI Initiator utility, but this time we have to go under the Discovery tab, and here we click on Discovery Portal button, and we enter the IP address of one of the network interface cards inside our StorSimple physical appliance that was selected for iSCSI protocol. So the IP address is 10.131.3.21, and we leave the default port for iSCSI protocol and just click OK. And under Targets section, we can already see the StorSimple device IQN number, but it's still in the inactive state. We just click on Connect. let's leave the default settings and confirm. And now our newly created volume is connected to the server running inside our on-prem data center. Now we have to again go under Tools menu and select Computer Management. And under Disk Management, we should already see a newly attached disk to the server. We have to bring it online and initialize the disk. Okay. And now we have to format to create a new partition on this newly attached disk. Let's click Next. We will just use the whole size of the disk. We will assign it a drive letter F. And now the most important part is to select the correct allocation unit size. So we have to choose 64 kilobytes because on StorSimple appliance there is the duplication process that runs, and the best results are achieved if the allocation unit size of the file system is of the same size as the algorithm, as the duplication algorithm uses, and this size is 64 kilobytes. So let's also give it a name, StorSimple, and leave to perform a quick format, and let's confirm the formatting process. Okay, the drive was successfully created, and we can see that it's also accessible. We can copy some data on the drive, create new folders, so it acts just as a normal drive that is created on any other disk or storage area network. Okay. In this video, we looked how to create a new volume on our StorSimple appliance, and also how to connect to the volume from a server using iSCSI protocol. So stay tuned for any new session in the future. Bye bye.